What's going on, guys? I'm back, and today I will be talking to you about the pros and cons of living in a rural area in Japan. So let's start off with the cons first. Let's keep it different. So, the first con of living in a rural area is obviously the bugs. There are tons and tons of various bugs in Japan that you will have never seen in your life. They'll be flying around in your face. As you're walking, you're gonna see like random bugs, creepy crawlies, near your feet. Different spiders, a lot of mosquitoes. Yeah, just a lot of different types of insects, and some of them can hurt you, and some of them can't. But yeah, just be ready for that. Number two, the language barrier. So since you are in a rural area, there's a pretty high chance that the people around you will not be speaking English that well. So that can be challenging at times. So that can be a downside. Number three, you are exposed more to extreme weather in a rural area. Why? Because you are not protected by buildings from shade, and such and things like that. So you're just it's more open ended, right? There's valleys, and you're exposed to the sun a lot more. You get extreme winters with a lot of snow in certain parts of Japan, rural areas of Japan. So and rain, torrential downpour. So you will be experiencing a lot of that. So yeah, that can be a bummer. Okay, the next one. Things are farther away. So grocery stores for some people, can be 30 minutes away from their apartment or house. Movie theaters can be maybe like 2 hours away, from where you are. So it's important that, it's good to have a car, or, it's probably good to have living in a rural area so you can get to these places. But, it sucks, but that's what you have to deal with it. Next one, less foreigners. So yes, there are not a lot of foreigners that are around in a rural area, because they primarily want to be in a major city like Tokyo or Osaka, where they're surrounded by, foreigners, and, it makes things a lot easier for them. It's more fun, in a way, for them, I guess, for some people. So yeah, it can be lonely at times. So you be prepared. Next one. Garbage rules in Japan are so strict. You have a separate day for plastic bottles. You have a separate day for recyclables. You have a separate day for combustible things such as paper or cardboard. And those need to go out on certain days. And if you mess up, they'll send your garbage back to your apartment, front of the door of your apartment. That happened to me. So it sucks, but yeah, you have to get used to the organization. And it's good for the environment, so you need to understand that as well. Okay, next one. You will eventually get bored at times in a rural area in Japan, because there's not a lot of things to do here other than go hiking in the mountains, or go swimming in an ocean. So yeah, you don't have that the luxury of going to an arcade late at night, or before I said movie theaters because they're so far. All of these entertainment things, most places are non-existent. So the things that you were used to before, it's not going to be like that when you're living in a rural area. So find ways to entertain yourself. Okay, next one. Places close very early. Some restaurants can close at 6, 7. Compared to the cities where they're open pretty late. I have not come across a restaurant that's open like till maybe 9:30. I haven't experienced that here. Okay, next one is international restaurants. They're very scarce. So if you're used to having Italian food or Indian food, or Man, say goodbye to that living in a rural place. You're gonna have to drive to the next city to find that stuff. And even then, it could be non existent, right? So, yeah, those are some of the cons of living in a rural place. So, let's move on to the pros. Okay. So, pros are there are less crowds of people in a rural area, which is good, you know, because sometimes you feel kind of overwhelmed with this hundreds and hundreds of people around you, right? When you're in a city, and all the hustle and bustle, it can be stressful for some people. It can make you dizzy. It can kind of get annoying at times, right? But so many people just so close to you. But in a rural place, you don't have to worry about that. There's so much like space, and people are, it's scarce. There's not a lot of people here, so it's great. Anyways, next one, nature. There is so much beautiful nature in a rural place here. You can go to the mountains. That could be literally right next door to you. You could go, you go to a river and go fishing or swim in an ocean or lake or whatever. These are the types of things that are available to you. You can even go waterfall chasing, right? Depending where you are. But it's honestly amazing how beautiful the nature is here in Japan. It's gorgeous, especially in the countryside. Next one, people tend to be friendlier, I think, based on my opinion. And I think it's because of the fact that there's not a lot of people and they're not dealing with the hustle and bustle, of going to work, rushing to work, like back compared to the city. Yeah, people are nicer because they live a much slower paced life. Next one, housing and apartments are cheaper here to purchase and rent compared to the city, which is good. Next one, easier access to organic food. There is, depending where you live, your little village might have a specialty for apples or mangoes or bananas, and even special dishes that can only be eaten in your little town. So it's great. It's great that you can experience that. And another one, you have a greater opportunity to improve your Japanese because of that language barrier that's there, and the lack of English speaking people in the rural area. So you can practice your Japanese as much as you want at the gas station, at the convenience store, at your job. So you have a lot better opportunity, and you will be surprised how much you can progress when you actually apply it, and you have no choice. And next one, there's less traffic. Yes, because there's not a lot of people, right? Which is great. It reduces your stress significantly when you're driving. I know when I was in Brampton, in Toronto, everyone knows how much traffic there is on the highways, and even in the normal roads. Steels, Bouvard, crazy. What else? So I think those are all of the pros. There's one more. You have more opportunity to explore hidden gems when you're in a rural place. There's a lot of spots that a lot of tourists don't really know about, and you can discover them yourself when you live in a rural place. I've discovered a bunch of temples and shrines that are near me that are not even on Google Maps, right? And they're absolutely gorgeous. So this is like your own little adventure when you're living in a rural place in Japan. You can discover new things, new places. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. See you later.